Hey guys, Garenex here and welcome back to another video on Genshin Impact. As we know, XIAO will be coming in less than a week's time. Many people are very hyped about him, so let's take a look at what he does and see how we can build him. XIAO is a 5-star Anemo Polearm user. His Ascension stat is crit rate, same as Diluc. This makes it very easy to build up his crit rate to a decent amount in order to consistently crit. He is using a new material called the Juvenile Jade, which is from the Primo Geo Bishop. Very unfortunate that we can't really pre-farm his Ascension materials, but other than this, he is using Xing Flower and Slime materials. These you can pre-farm, so be sure to prepare them if you are planning to pull for XIAO. His normal attack performs up to 6 consecutive Spear Strike. Charge attack consumes a certain amount of stamina to perform an upward thrust, and he has a plunging attack just like everyone else, but he does not take any damage from performing a plunging attack regardless of the height. So you can plunge from the mountaintop all the way down. And these are the multipliers. His normal attack multipliers are really high when comparing to Zhongli and Xiangling, which are the other two polearm users we have, especially the high plunging attack. His plunging attack is up to 200%, and when we take a look at Zhongli, his plunging attack is up to 159%, and for Xiangling, her plunging attack is also up to 159%. His elemental skill, Lemniscatic Wind Cycling. XIAO lunges forward, dealing Anemo damage to opponents in his path. Can be used in mid-air, starts with 2 charges. Seems like a pretty straightforward skill. And his elemental burst, Bane of all Evil. XIAO dons the Yaksha mask that set gods and demons trembling millennia ago. So the Yaksha's mask greatly increases XIAO's jumping ability, increases his attack AoE and attack damage, converts attack damage into Anemo damage, which cannot be overridden by any other elemental infusion. In this state, XIAO will continuously lose HP, and the effects of this skill ends when XIAO leaves the field. Similar to Razor, his elemental burst will be cancelled if you switch to other characters. And what's interesting is that the burst itself doesn't deal any damage. What it does is that it adds the bonus damage multiplier to his normal attack multiplier. He will lose 3% of his current HP per second. This is actually better than I thought because it's based on his current HP and not the max HP. So the amount of HP you lose will gradually become smaller and smaller over time. This makes it so that he doesn't die so easily. Duration is 15 seconds, cooldown is 18 seconds, and energy cost is 70, which is rather high. His talent Ascension materials are using the Books of Prosperity, Slime materials, and also the Shadow of the Warriors, which drop from Charm. For his passive, his first passive decreases climbing stamina consumption for your own party members by 20%, not stackable with passive talents that provides the exact same effects. His second passive, while under the effects of Bane of all Evil, all damage dealt by XIAO increases by 5%, damage increases by a further 5% every 3 seconds the ability persists, the maximum damage bonus is 25%. And his third passive, using Lemniscatic Wind Cycling, increases the damage of the subsequent users of Lemniscatic Wind Cycling by 15%. This effect lasts for 7 seconds and has a maximum of 3 stacks. Getting a new stack refreshes the effect's duration. You can get the maximum of 45%, but you will need to be very aware of the cooldown of your skill. The first charge will be used to trigger this passive and give you 1 stack. 6 seconds later, use the second charge and that will give you 2 stacks and also refreshes the duration. Then 6 seconds later, which in total that will be 12 seconds already, which means your first charge cooldown has ended. So you will be able to use it another time to gain that 3rd stack. Like I said, you will need to be very aware of the cooldown to gain that 3 stacks, but you don't actually have to worry too much about that because at C0, you will be able to get the 3rd stack, but you will never be able to enjoy it. That is because the damage increase only applies to the elemental skill, but your skill cooldown will not end in time for you to use the 4th time. So for a C0 XIAO, you can only get a maximum of 30% increase in damage for your elemental skill. But things will be different if you manage to get him to C1. So for his constellation, C1 increases Lemniscatic Wind Cycling's charge by 1. So that will give you a total of 3 charges for your elemental skill, and you will now be able to enjoy that full 45% increase in damage for your elemental skill. His C2, when in party and not on the field, XIAO's energy recharge is increased by 25%. C3 increases the level of Lemniscatic Wind Cycling by 3, maximum level is 15. C4, when Xiao's HP falls below 50%, he gains a 100% defense bonus. C5 increases the level of Bane of All Evil by 3, maximum upgrade level is 15. And C6, while under the effects of Bane of All Evil, hitting at least 2 opponents with Xiao's plunging attack will immediately grant him 1 charge of Lemniscatic Wind Cycling. And for the next 1 second, he may use Lemniscatic Wind Cycling while ignoring its cooldown. C6 is the one that will greatly boost his damage potential because you can then spam his elemental skill. So C0 is definitely viable. C1 is great to increase his elemental skill damage because you get to enjoy that 45% increase in damage. Or you can go C6 for the insane spam. Anything in between is not really worth it in my opinion. So C0, C1, or you go all into C6. Xiao is definitely designed as a main DPS because number 1, his normal attack multiplier is really high as compared to Zhongli and Xiangling. Number 2, his elemental burst will be cancelled when he leaves the field, just like Razor. And number 3, he doesn't leave anything on the field to help with consistent elemental reactions, so you definitely want to use him as the main DPS. So for his artifact, I would recommend going for the 2-piece Very Decent for the 15% Anemo damage bonus, because his elemental burst changes your damage to Anemo damage, and pair that with a 2-piece Gladiator for the 18% attack. Or you can go with a 4-piece Gladiator for the 18% attack and also for a 35% increase in normal attack damage. You could potentially go with a 4-piece Retracing Bolide, but the downside is that you will need another character that can provide shield, and the 2-piece effect doesn't give you any offensive bonus. So if you want to go full offensive, 2-piece Very Decent and 2-piece Gladiator or 4-piece Gladiator will be better. If you want a bit of defensive capability, 4-piece Retracing Bolide is good. For stats, you want to look for attack percent on Timepiece, Anemo damage bonus on Goblet, and crit damage on Headpiece. For substats, you want to look for attack percent, crit damage, crit rate, and energy recharge. Now, his burst energy cost is pretty high, so having a bit of energy recharge will help you with getting his burst more frequently. In terms of weapons, the best 5-star options would be the Primordial Jade Winged Spear. It has a crit rate as the secondary stat, so you can focus more on attack and crit damage when farming for artifacts. And whenever you hit enemies, you also gain some attacks. You can go with the Vortex Vanquisher as well, but again, you will need a Geo character or someone with a shield for you to take advantage of the passive effect. For 4-star options, you can go with the Black Cliff Pole, or you can go with the Deathmatch. Both are really good for you to deal more damage. And in Xiao's case, I believe Favonius Lance will actually work pretty well as well, because his Ascension stat is crit rate, so you can easily get his crit rate up to a decent amount for consistent crit. And because his burst provides you with so much extra damage, you want the uptime to be as long as possible. With Favonius Lance, the secondary stat is energy recharge, and for every crit you also have a 60% chance to get energy. This will help you charge your burst very quickly, and if you get this weapon up to R5, it will also be a 100% chance to get energy from crits. So it becomes much more easier for you to refill your energy and keep your burst uptime. In terms of team comps, you can go with the usual double Pyro for 25% more attack. So you can go with Bennett and Xiangling. Bennett will be the healer and also gives you the attack bonus via his burst. Xiangling's burst can remain on the field even after switching her out, so you deal extra damage with it while using Xiao as the main DPS. You can then go with another Anemo character to reduce the cooldown of your skill by 5% to ensure longer uptime on your Xiao's burst. So you can go with Venti or Anemo MC for the resonance and also for the CC capabilities. And for the last slot, you can go with any other elements that you might need to break shields and whatnot. So with the current information we have, this is how I would build Xiao. You can take this build as a starting point and further improve on it to suit your own playstyle. Personally, I'm not going to summon for him because I'm a major Keqing sim, so I will be saving my gems for Keqing instead. If you find this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That's it for today, take care and have a great day ahead.